Hey you guys, it's Maymay. Do you remember this little purse and this little one-sheet folio? So many of you have been making them and putting them together, and I think that is adorable. But it got me thinking, wouldn't this be a cute craft fair project if you're someone who needs to make things for a craft fair? And I wanted to redesign this whole mechanism so that our folio actually filled the whole purse and our handles weren't quite in the way. So stick around and I'm going to show you how to make this guy. Now, it's a little different than this one in particular. One reason is because we need two pieces of 12 by 12, where this one uses just one, but that's no big deal. Let me show you the cuts. You'll need one piece that is 5 by 12, and then two pieces that are just slightly under 4 by 12. We're going to cut them just a sliver shorter than 4 inches, okay? So let's talk about how to assemble this guy. Now, I want you to stick around for this one because I'm doing the handle different because I want this to feel like the handle of the purse as well. So you'll see how that works in just a second. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this into our scoreboard and we're going to score it on the 12-inch side. This is our 12 by 5, so we're going to score it on the 12-inch side at 2, 3, 7, and 8. This will be the base of our folio, okay? Now your other two pieces, you're just slightly under 4-inch wide by 12. You're going to put those on the 12-inch side as well. And I want you to score them at 5 and at 10. And we're going to do something extra to these for this little album assembly. Again, we're going to do this one again, the same thing, 5 and 10. All right, so I'm going to move my scoreboard. And the first thing I want to do is get these guys prepped to go into our mini album. And that means I'm just going to do some folding and some creasing. Now I'm going to fold this piece just like so, line it up to that score line we made at 10, and then crease this down. Now something I want to show you is this piece is going to attach into the album differently than we did with the one sheet. That's where we made a little difference here. So before I move on from this, I want to use my little tab punch because I want to turn this into a pocket. So I'm going to punch this little tab punch just eyeballing halfway down. Now you can use just a just a circle punch to do this with. The only thing I'm finding I really like with this is I know all of my shapes are going to be the same. So when I go to layer paper, I know I'll have the same shape that I'm using instead of trying to guess with my circle rounder. With my circle punch. I don't know why I can't say that today, but I am liking that little thumb punch, that little notch. It's pretty cool. All right, same thing here. I'm going to punch it again, and you can line these up if you need to. You want to line this guy up so that they match, and then turn your punch upside down so you can see what you're doing. Then you'll know that they are the same. All right, now, that little piece that we didn't fold, we do want to fold it. Let's go ahead and get that folded and creased. And I'm just going to doing it in both directions because I'm not exactly sure which way I'm going to put these in just yet. So let's go back to our album, or what will be our album. Let's get this guy folded and creased. Now, I want to caution you. You need two pieces of 12 by 12. And I have two pieces of 12 by 12, but I'd already cut into one of my pieces. So I didn't have the luxury of paying attention to my pattern orientation on my pages. I do not think in the end it's going to bother me too awful much, but if paper orientation and pattern orientation matters to you, you'll want to pay attention, and I'll show you where mine is going to be different. All right, so you see we've got these folds here. This is a 1-inch fold, and this is a 1-inch fold. Now these pieces we had here, where we have our little 5-inch pieces here and our little thumb notch, this guy's going to become a pocket right here. Now that's a little busy for me, okay? So I think what I'm going to do is turn this over so that I can have two different colors showing. Now this is why we cut these guys 4 inches shy, just a little shy of 4 inches. So they will fit in these sections we scored at 4. That's this space between here. But you can see I'm kind of getting a little bit of resistance. I want to make sure that right here it's pushing back a little bit. So all you're going to do to make sure this guy will fit in that spot is come to your trimmer, and we're going to take a little sliver off the side of our paper. Now what you want to do is put this just in your cut line and then sink your blade in the middle. And this is a place where you're going to want to cut slow. Slow up and then come back and slow down. Slow down. That will get you that sliver off of your page. And I mean, you can see here, I'm taking the tiniest sliver. See that? Now that will help these guys fit between those score lines. So if I come back now and I center this and I try the top, no issue there and no issue there. Everything folds well. All right, so where are we going to apply glue? Let me show you. I'm going to use wet glue, and on this flap here, I'm going to put it on 3 sides because remember, we're going to make this a pocket. You don't have to make this a pocket, but I thought we've got the space. We might as well use it, right? So 3 sides of glue. Then between those score marks, this is my spine and this is my spine. I'm going between the spines. I'm going to glue this in. And just again, make sure everything closes well. So you can see here, I'll hold this up once I get it pressed in so you can see where we're at. The other thing I'm going to do is just kind of make sure we're lined up to the edge here and not hanging over. One thing about this folio that we're making to go inside the bag is it is just the right size. I did not make it very thin. I wanted it to fit the whole purse for stability for one thing, but I really didn't want it to rock around much. So you need to make sure these pages live inside your album. If it hangs over here, it could be too wide. Now we got the top installed. On the bottom piece, I want it to be glued to the other side. And you can see here, I made a mistake earlier. Let me show you what it was. I glued my page like this. I don't want my patterns to match. What I really want is this. So I had to cut myself another piece. And sometimes that happens. No big deal, right? So now we're going to glue this guy here so we have our pockets going in an opposite direction. I think that's kind of cool. All right, 3 sides just like we did above. Then we'll just line this up and glue him in just like that top one. But he's on the flap underneath our second spine right there. And again, I want to make sure he's not hanging over the edge at all on either side. Get him lined up nice and even. Now, I can see that I'm hanging off the tiniest bit right here. I'm going to trim that away with my scissors. It's not very much, but I really need to because of the size of the purse. Remember, I told you we need to stay inside that 5 inches. So it's no big deal. It's just another little tiny sliver to trim off. But now let's check this guy out. Here's what we've got. We've got a top piece that's going to hold photos here and a bottom piece that's going to hold photos here. So that is our folio for inside the purse. Now I'm going to add a magnet as well. I only have the large magnets at my desk. You could use the small ones here, but the large ones work really well too, so I'm just going to use these. Now you might have seen in the title or in the thumbnail of this video that I said this would be perfect for craft fairs. Here's the thing. I think that it would. I think if you came up on a table full of these at a craft fair, you would stop and look, these little miniature purses, and then when you're sitting behind your craft table booth and you can tell the person looking, the customer, that these are mini albums and show them how you pull the handle out and you put the photos in. I really think these would go really well as craft booth projects. I think they'll be cute. All right, this is the basic folio. Now, we haven't done any of the cutesies yet. We still have to do all of that, but I want to show you how the handle is going to work. Okay, so let me cut my handle real quick. Now, I have 2 pieces cut for my handle. This guy is 3/4 by 12 inches, and I cut him from the same pattern as my folio. This one is 12 inches by 3/4 inches, but I did him in white. I'm going to make him a little layered piece. But the reason I am, my cardstock that I'm using the Bella Besties, the collection pack, and it's a little thin for it to be the handle. So I want to layer a piece on top. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And I'm going to use this border punch to dress it up. So what I'm going to do is just run down this entire piece and border punch it on both sides. And whatever I get will be my handle layer. Did you notice I started right at the design? I did that on purpose because I'm going to do that on both sides. And then hopefully my designs will line up pretty well both sides. So this piece is going to layer over the top. It kind of looks like gingerbread. I think that's cute. It didn't line up exact, but I like how it almost looks like rope. I think that's kind of cool. So I'm just going to glue this guy down. And what this will do is it'll give me some stability to this handle because of this glue that we're applying. If my cardstock was thicker, I wouldn't even worry about doing this, but it is cute to have the little decorative piece. Then I'm just going to lay this guy over in the center here, and I'll show you how we're going to put this in. I'm going to go to my scoreboard and I'm going to lay this with a little decorative piece down like that. And I'm just going to do some gentle scores here. You don't have to do anything too heavy-handed. I'm just going to score at 1.5 inch on one end and at 10.5 on the other. That's 1.5 inches in on either side. And it's just really enough for me to see where to fold that back to glue it into the folio. All right, so I'm going to fold this piece. And be gentle because you do have 2 layers there. Get that worked in. And then this end. And you do want to do this at this point, and I'll tell you why. You want to make sure when we put this into the book, we will be able to cover it later. So you just want to make sure you put this guy in so that before you decorate. All right, let's grab our bone folder. I got to curve this. You know I have to curve it a little bit. It's a little too straight for me. We want it to look something like that. Isn't that going to be cute? And it's going to get glued here and here, and I will show you before I do it. I'm going to take it and I'm going to float it in that spine. Our spine is 1 inch and our little purse strap is 3 3/4. So we have about 1/8 of an inch on either side. And I'm going to glue it down on both ends just like this. And you can see what I meant by this way when I decorate, I can hide that where it just kind of ends. All right, so let's glue that in. Now, in a real world situation, not where I'm filming a tutorial to teach you how to make this little purse, I would not put this in at this point, but I want you to know that it needs to go in before you decorate. You can decorate all of this, just leave this section and then put your handle on and put your decoration on last. It's perfectly fine. I just wanted to show you where it needs to go and I don't want to forget because I would probably decorate everything flat before I applied this handle. And then I would just put my final decoration on top to hide these little pieces. All right, so what's going to happen is when we close this guy up again, he's going to close like this. Our little magnet will close down and look, he's a little purse, right? Now this guy is going to live in this guy. Okay, now where did I get this little guy from? Let me show you. I made this exact purse bottom. We already have the tutorial for you. We'll link it, but I didn't add handles and I didn't decorate yet. Okay, so he's just the base is what he is, same size and everything. And he is going to live right inside of here. Now, here's the thing. Look how cute he is with that little handle. So precious. We are going to have to create a little strap that goes across to hold him in when you pick him up by the handle. Because if we don't, as you can see, our folio just comes out. But that's no big deal. It'll be super cute. And it'll give another opportunity to add a little cuteness to the front of the purse. All right, so that's how our folio fits inside. Let me work on that now and we'll put it together. So I'm going to pull this little guy out for now just because he's kind of in my way while I'm working. And I want to show you something I'm going to do. I've added some foam squares to the back. I like how that looks when it's just lifted a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal one side and I can go ahead and stick it down, but I don't want to stick both sides down yet. I'll show you why. This is going to be the front of my bag here, but I want to leave this little flap open so I can put the handle on. Now here's what I'm going to do for the handle. This is a 5.5 inch by 1.5 inch piece of cardstock. And I'm going to use this punch from Dress My Craft. And I'm going to use that 1.5 inch piece. Now I have scored this 1/2 inch in. Do you see that? This is going to be where I fold it in the back. So the front of my piece is going to be right here. Now you can play with this area. You don't have to do what I'm doing here. You can come up with so many different kinds of closures. I just wanted to give you an idea. So I like the way that looks. I will be covering that little hole, but for now I like the way it looks. And here's the deal. I'm going to fold that piece back that I scored. And what I want to do is I want to glue this with that little flap. You see that little flap? I want that flap to go behind like so. And then I will foam tape that down. But I want that to be nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is apply glue to my little 1/2 inch flap that I created. Are you already thinking of all the ways you can make different kinds of little closures? There's so many options. You'll come up with so many more than I ever do. All right, so I've got that there. I want to make sure it's centered and it feels a little to one side to me. You could even measure if you wanted. I'll flip that up. That looks pretty good. All right, so now that I've got it in place on the back, I want to also glue it here. Just for a little more stability. Now I can open those foam pieces and stick it down. So So you see how clean that looks on the back? It was a little bit weird to do it, but it looks good. Let's curve this with our bone folder like we do with the other strap. Go ahead and get it working in that direction. There we go. Now we got to decide how we're going to make it close on this side. I wanted my little piece to hang past the green. I wanted it to come down a little further, and I think I'm going to let it attach like so. But I want to show you something. I use magnets all the time, but since I'm telling you this might be a great thing to use for craft fairs, magnets can get pricey in these kinds of things. So I'm going to show you how you can use Velcro, and you can use the whole piece like this, or you can cut your Velcro down. You can see I did it for a project before and just use part of it. I'm going to use a whole piece here just because, especially if I was going to put this in a craft fair, I might, but this can help you save a little bit of money. Or another thing is you can just create a whole different closure altogether. You could put twine or ribbon through here and have it come through that hole and tie a bow. That'd be super cute too. But I never use Velcro, so I want to show you how. All right, so I'm going to stick that there. Now, I don't like how that Velcro is not exactly on the circle, so I'm going to fix it by moving it over like so. So I've got the sticky side stuck onto the flap here. Then I'm just going to pull this around. Now, this works just like a magnet. Get it where you want it before you stick it down, because once you stick it, it's there, okay? So now you see how I've got that there. Isn't that cute? Let's open it up. And you can see we've got Velcro on one side and Velcro on the other. Now you're thinking, what are you going to do to hide that? Let me show you. You have some options. This is a piece of ephemera from the Christmas Spectacular pack, which would look perfect here. And look, when you glued it on, it would cover that just exactly. And I would probably put a bow behind it or something like that. But I want to use this button. I think it is so cute, and I want to put the button right there. But first, I want to put some twine through it because I want to tie a bow in this guy. So I just did kind of a little whimsical bow right there. And now I'm going to glue it on. I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac. You could hot glue this if you wanted to, but I think this is a good spot for Fabri-Tac. So I'm going to put some here. And this is going to cover that hole that our punch made as well. Just place this guy there. Now I'm going to have to let him dry. So I'll prop him up somewhere on my desk for a minute so he can catch. You could put him on with some foam tape. The only reason I didn't is because I didn't want, my button is so dimensional. I'll show you what I mean. Let me turn it to the side. See how thick my button is? And I didn't want to add more dimension here. So I'm just going to prop him up there and let him dry for a second. And that gives me time to walk away and do something else. And I'll come back and we'll put it all together. Let's talk real quick about what to do with our folio. Now, it's clearly a photo holder, right? It's going to hold different photos and things like that. And you can see here how they're going to flip out. And of course, you have the pocket to use. I want to show you something that we've done. We have made photo shapes and laminated them so we can see different sizes when we're designing our albums. Clearly a 4x6 is too big, but I got to show you what really works. This little guy always works. I seem to always be able to use him. He is from one of our stamp sets. We can link him below. It's called Oh Snap. He's really, really cute. But look how good this 3x4 fits. Now, I know I'm turning it sideways, but look how perfect 3x4 photos will fit. And that's what I would do. I went ahead and cut some that I'm going to be stamping. I would run through, and I might not even add other layers. I think this decorator paper is so cute. But I would run through and I would add some 3x4 photo spots everywhere like this. And then I would probably either put them in the pocket as well, or maybe dig into some older or some leftover cut-aparts that I might have, because 3x4 is a standard cut-apart size. What a great place to do some little tucks like that for journaling and things like that. Now, I'm not going to be finishing the folio in this video just for time's sake today, but I hope that gives you some really good ideas of ways to finish it up. All right, let's put it all together. All right, so here we go. We'd have our completely decorated little album, and we would put it inside of our little purse, just like so. Close our little flap down, and we're using Velcro here, like I said. And there you go. Look how cute. Now, it needs lots of other things. Let me show you something you could do here. From the chipboard of the 49 and Market Christmas Spectacular paper, look how cute these are on here like this. These little words that come in that pack, if you haven't picked it up, we're going to be bringing some more in because I think these are very, very useful for Christmas. And see, they just are little chipboard pieces that are pre-cut. Now this one's a little bit big, but he still would work because that piece is, stuck down. But aren't they adorable? Look at this one that says joyful. I think these are so cute to add on here. You can add anything you want. You can make them for different occasions. I think it'd be really cute if you kind of themed them. Oh, I like that right there. I'll probably end up putting that there. But I think if you themed them, it would be really cute, like especially for a craft fair. Maybe like little girl, maybe like pink for Barbie, Mickey Mouse, all the different things you could theme them for. I think that'd be really, really cute. All right, let's open it up. So to open it, you're going to pull your little Velcro piece out, move your flap back, and then there is your album. I think these would be really cute. I just can see a sea of them at someone's craft table and people walking by going, oh, what is that? Because I think it's cute to look at it like this. So I'll decorate this one later, but I just wanted to give you the build so you could get started. And please, please, please do me a favor. If you make this guy, I really want to see it. So show it to me in one of two places, either on our Facebook group at Maymay Made It and So Did I, or at our customer gallery on our website at MaymayMadeIt.com. If you want to pick up any of the products I used today, you can find those on our website as well. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're enjoying Christmas in July as much as I am. And until next time, bye now.